When did common sense become uncommon? Increasingly, the institutions that govern us seem unwilling to say what most Australians know to be true. Take what happened in Canberra this week. At Senate estimates, Australia's Sex Discrimination Commissioner, Dr. Anna Cody, was asked a remarkably simple question. Can a biological male get pregnant? Now, this isn't a trick question. It's not a complicated legal question. It's not a philosophical question. It's just a biological question. And here's her response.
Trans women, if someone is who applies for a job, for example,
yes,
and it is a trans woman and she may be asked whether or not she intends to have children, and if she replies, yes, I do, and then doesn't get the job because that employer doesn't want to employ women who may be of childbearing age, then she may have been subjected to unlawful discrimination on the basis of potential pregnancy.
I'm very confused. A biological male can't become pregnant.
But the grounds of pregnancy includes potential pregnancy as well as pregnancy.
But if they can't become pregnant, how can you then become potentially pregnant?
It's about the unlawful treatment by the employer.
Australians are being told that under certain legal frameworks, a transgender woman, so a biological man, could claim protections relating to pregnancy. So just think about that for a moment. That puts the law in conflict with biological reality. A biological male cannot become pregnant, but we're simultaneously expected to treat pregnancy as though it could apply in cases where biology makes that impossible. The evolutionary biologist Richard Dawkins describes science as the jewel in humanity's crown. Why? Because science doesn't ask us to believe things because they are fashionable, politically convenient, or emotionally satisfying. Science proceeds through evidence. It asks what is true, not what we wish to be true. Dawkins argues one of the great illusions of our age is the belief that personal feelings can somehow override biological reality, that human psychology, legislation, or social pressure can change facts that science has long understood. In other words, that reality itself is negotiable, but science doesn't work that way. Biological sex is not determined by political slogans. It's not determined by personal belief, and it is not changed because a government form says otherwise. Science proceeds through evidence, and that brings us to George Orwell. Nearly 80 years ago, Orwell warned about a society that asked people to deny what was plainly in front of them. In his famous classic 1984, he called it doublethink, the ability to hold two contradictory ideas in your head at the same time and accept both as true. His famous line was simple: freedom is the freedom to say that 2 + 2 makes 4. Because that is the heart of intellectual honesty, the courage to see reality as it is, even when the world insists that you should not. When a country loses the courage to say what is obviously true, it doesn't just lose common sense, it loses its way. To stay on track, we must accept reality, even when legislation, ideology, or social pressure tells us otherwise. We must have the courage to acknowledge facts, even when they're unpopular, and to follow evidence, even when it challenges deeply held beliefs. Because if we lose that, we lose more than common sense. We lose our ability to distinguish truth from fiction, evidence from ideology, and reality from wishful thinking.